When people talk about The Simpsons' showrunners, the same names always come up, obviously, like Al Jean, Matt Selman, and all of those creative heads who helped make classic Simpsons what it was. But the most underappreciated voices in the mix are the ones introduced much later on. And what do I mean by this? The ones introduced specifically after season 33. But here's the thing, they weren't really showrunners by the strictest definition. They worked alongside the showrunners, sure, but they were, as we call them, co-showrunners. And those are who we'll be talking about today in today's short video. But before we dive into that, I filmed a little segment I think you'll really enjoy. It's incredibly authentic and really honest and relatable, and you'll really connect with it. I can't keep you waiting any longer. Have a look. So for a while now, I've been trying to contact YouTube over this thing. It's called the auto-dub feature. What is the auto-dub feature? It's a feature some YouTubers get where their videos get automatically dubbed into another language. So I thought, let me try that. That could be cool. That could be nice. Just testing it out. So I try to find it, and I can't find it. It's nowhere to be found. I sent out an email, and they didn't respond. I then proceeded to go to their headquarters and bang on the doors. I was escorted out, and I still was not contacted about the autodub feature. I thought, why does everybody else get it, but not me? Now, the mature thing to do would be to let it go, wait until I get it. That's not what I did. I decided that if they don't want me, then I'm gonna play hardball. We're going into this segment. This segment is about Lisa Simpson. And I'm gonna show how far I'm willing to go to include all different countries and all different languages into my community. And if YouTube doesn't want that, then that says more about them than it does me, doesn't it? So here, I'm gonna show you how far I'm willing to go. Here's the segment. Lisa Simpson, com to les autres personas au début, elle a été plus appréciée qu'elle ne l'est now. Sweet ou astronaut. I'm ruining a beautiful language. Dan mo lozihic. Padihan sis a vandaban. Do nai porta vanir. And structures da dance. And there we go. I nailed that one. I nailed it. And here's the English script for comparison if you want to see how good I did. Yeah, that's right. And now let's get to the main video topic and the main showrunners, or the co-runners. Co-runners, we know the showrunners. The main video. And here we go. Okay, so to clear up any confusion you might have regarding what co-showrunners are, during season 33, Al Jean decided to step back as showrunner, because at that point he'd been showrunning for many years. And he let Matt Selman, a previous large part of Jean's era, take charge more directly. And Matt Selman employed the idea of having co-runners, people who can showrun episodes and be kind of helpful to him, and to make the experience much easier. And this was introduced, of course, again after season 33. I hope everything's clear now. We'll judge them now. So let's start talking about the co-showrunners, or the co-runners. Now, technically there's at least 5 of them, but really only 3 are worth mentioning, and have their own distinct styles. And they are Brian Kelly, Carolyn Omin, and Rob Lazebnik. I'm just gonna call him Rob, not that I have any difficulty saying his name, we're just that close. Starting with Rob. Rob, as you will notice, is obsessed, and I mean obsessed, with exploring topics and sort of human behavior in tough situations and how people react in specific situations. To paraphrase, he's the topical and social commentary guy. The episodes he's written include The Fast and the Furious, which features Lisa attempting to save Springfield's ecosystem by going back in time and stopping the collapse and turning Burns good. That whole episode features Lisa and Burns, now turned good, trying to bring the town together. And this is the first with this whole community theme that he keeps building on with each episode. For example, other episodes that include this town community theme are Night of the Living Wage, with Marge working in a ghost kitchen and seeing her band together with her crew. There's also Right Off This Episode, which also features Marge, seems to be a theme here, starting a charity and again commuting with the town. Other than the community and uniting together theme, there's also the regular topical stuff that Rob likes to throw in. It's not throw in, it's his signature style. For example, the episode Games Done Changed, where the characters start playing this game that resembles many popular video games right now, but he manages to make it work by making it a wholesome story by the end. And again, full circle moment is like, by the end, the whole family bands together, they connect more, again with the team-like concept. I don't know, what is it with teams and Rob? What is it with you, Rob? I'll have to ask him. But that's all for Rob. He's topical, social commentary. That's his gist. That's his whole gist. Now moving on to the second runner. The second runner we have, you might not have heard his name before, but you've probably, most likely, encountered some of the clips of his episodes online recently. And that's none other than Brian Kelly, who's clearly better than Rob in every way, because he has a last name I can actually pronounce. Brian Kelly. Who is he? Where is he? Why is he? Well, chances are, if you were online last year, or the year before, you saw clips floating around of the episode Lisa the Boy Scout. Clips of this episode include Homer waking up from a coma, Martin being an undercover cop, and other ridiculous, absurd concepts that fans have theorized about online for years. And what is brilliant about this episode is that it starts out like a regular episode. It even is titled as such. And Kelly loves playing around with parody titles or weird titles. They're not always funny, but most of the time they work. Somewhat. Okay, maybe once or twice, but a guy should try, right? The whole episode is structured as a best of, but instead of episode clips, it's fan theories and ideas that have been passed around for years. They even make fun of some of their decisions in the past. Now, this episode isn't the only one in the style of Brian's episodes. If that was the case, he wouldn't be discussed here. Brian's other episode, that I would consider to be just as iconic as Lisa the Boy Scout, is Bartless. Fitting that it's a Bart episode right after a Lisa episode, or at least a Lisa title. Bartless has Homer and Marge completely fed up with Bart, which is something we've seen explored time and time again. But much like how we saw with Lisa the Boy Scout, the episode starting generic and predictable isn't always a sign of what's to come. The episode takes a turn into a high-concept territory, where Homer and Marge wake up in a world where Bart does not exist. He isn't their son at all, just Marge, Homer, and Lisa. But then out of nowhere, they crash their car in the middle of the night, and Bart gets hit by a car. Get it? Because it's a reference. They take him in and adopt him as their own, after finding out that he can't remember a thing. And that's the thing I like most about these episodes. No matter the director, there's always a wholesome undertone beneath everything that really sets it apart from other animated shows. And I love the fact that the family finds each other even in a world where they're not even related. By the end of the episode, Marge and Homer discovered that they do indeed love Bart, even if he might drive them crazy sometimes. Brian, of course, directed other episodes in the same vein that include Clan of the Cave Mom, Simpsons Wicked This Way Comes, and Yellow Planet. And those are a similar style as well, but I believe those two that I showed off showcase what he's capable of as a co-runner the most. So to summarize, Brian Kelly is the one that specializes in high concept episodes and experimental stuff. But before we head over to the third and final co-runner, we need to hear from a very special guest. Someone who really cares about this stuff, but at the same time, doesn't at all. Please welcome the detached PNG of ambivalence. So, detached PNG of ambivalence, who would you say is your favorite co-runner? And as we said, he doesn't care. But he really cares. No, he really cares. I don't want to make him out like he doesn't care. So, PNG of ambivalence, tell us what you think.
Well, you hear me? You hear this?
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, you sure you hear it? You hear this?
Yeah, I hear you.
Well, first of all, I don't necessarily care about that stuff. Not that I'm trying to dismiss it. I'm not trying to dismiss it. Because if I don't want you to make me look like I'm trying to dismiss it, or that I'm necessarily trying to say that I don't care, because I do care. And, there's a lot of showrunners there's a lot of stuff, and a lot of them are. But I don't really care, honestly, to give a proper answer. But no, no, no. Like, yeah, you're right. If I were forced to give an answer, not that I care or necessarily don't care, but I would have to say maybe. But not that the by me saying this, it doesn't mean that I'm trying to say that the others are bad in any way. They're not. Not that I care how I look talking about people, because I don't care. I have a very strong sense of self. Not that I have to prove anything. I don't really care about that stuff. I live for myself and only myself. But what was the question?
Just what showrunner you like.
Oh yeah, well, there's different showrunners, and I don't really think I can answer that question. I don't really think I can answer that question. Not that I care to answer it, or that I don't care to answer it, because I do care. But not really.
And the third showrunner, the last, but certainly not the least. Now, to preface before saying the name, if Brian Kelly was the format bender and the experimental one, and Rob was the topical and satirical one, then Carolyn O'Mean, the third co-runner, is the heart of the show. Now, you're probably not familiar with who Carolyn O'Mean is, what her episodes were, but you may be familiar with the episode Pixelated and Afraid, where Homer and Marge get lost in the forest and have to survive together. The episode is filled with tons of authentic, wholesome Simpsons moments that feel like they were ripped straight out of Season 2. And not just that, they feel like they were brought out of Season 2 and given a new coat of paint. Remixed, basically. Pixelated and Afraid is largely referred to as the episode that saved The Simpsons. It's why you see articles everywhere saying The Simpsons is good again, The Simpsons has heart again. Carolyn O'Mean also worked on episodes such as My Octopus and a Teacher, which is very important because it introduced Mrs. Krabappel's replacement, Miss Python. So out of all the co-runners, Carolyn O'Mean has had the most impact. Not only has she jump-started The Simpsons' comeback, she was also able to replace one of the show's most important characters and do it in a clever and interesting way. Okay, and that's pretty much it. To summarize, Rob is the topical one, Brian is the high concept one, and Carolyn is the heart of the show. And that's it. I hope you learned about the co-runners if you didn't know about them before, and I'll see you later. And they are Brian Kelly, Carolyn O'Mean, and Michael Price. Yeah, well, much I can stay on that.